Hi everybody, welcome back to WEDucation. I am here with Brent Bogan at the Chicory in New Orleans, one of my favorite venues. I happen to have gotten married here, so did Brent. So this place has a very special place in my heart, but also great friends with Brent. And I'm gonna have him tell you a little bit about the space and what the Chicory brings to you here in New Orleans.
Well, thanks for that toss-over, Kelly. The Chicory was built in 1852 as a coffee warehouse, and that's where we got the Chicory name from. We have about 20,000 square feet of space, 5 different rooms, including a rooftop deck. We can do events for anything from 20 people to 1,500 people, weddings, welcome parties, brunches, corporate events, rehearsal dinners, you name it. You got the money, we'll do it.
Very good.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, brides come in, they're inquiring about the Chicory. Like, first and foremost, what should they come in with when they first start looking? What key points should they know before they even start looking at this venue or any other one?
It helps me out a lot on the venue side if they have just some sort of idea of the size of wedding that they're going to have and the date, or just the time of year. Like, that is big. Or ceremony and reception, or just reception. Like, those are the three big things that I need to know before I can really walk you around and start offering things.
What about budget? Does that come into play initially? I mean, we're in downtown New Orleans. That's one of my things, is when I have brides and grooms that are inquiring about different venues and where they can go. If I don't have a budget or a starting point, as you know, down here we have a lot of minimums that we work with. So that should be a part of it as well, don't you think?
Budget's a big part of it, yeah. Because, I mean, you don't want to look at places that are just completely outside of your budget. Yeah. And I will say we're a little bit on the higher end of the way that budget goes, and we're very open with our minimums. Like, for a Saturday night in the Chicory, it's a $25,000 contract minimum. We do contract minimums. Most places do food and beverage minimums, to where ours is a total inclusive contract from rental fee, service charge, tax, per person charge, food, beverage, everything. That all goes towards that big $25K number.
So what that means is if they have a reception here and a ceremony, they do have a ceremony fee, and that will go into the minimum as well?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Awesome.
So yeah, budget's a big deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you think sets you guys apart from some of the other venues? I know for me personally, I love the location here. So you guys,
I was going to say, location.
Yeah.
That's always a big thing.
Yeah.
That definitely sets us apart. We're in the warehouse district. We're in one of the most expensive neighborhoods in the city. We're in one of the safest neighborhoods in the city. We're in definitely more of a locals playground over here, as opposed to there's nothing wrong with the French Quarter. I'm not betray my own city or anything. I love the Quarter, but I mean, that's a totally different element over there.
Right.
So yeah, location's a huge thing that sets us apart. The originality of our building,
Very New Orleans.
Yeah, very New Orleans. I mean, it's got the history and the architecture and the brick and the beams and gas lanterns and stuff like that. We're also in a unique position that we have our own in-house chef, where a lot of places will have. Yes, he has been with us for about 6 years now, and he and his team got named Best Catering Chef in the city last year from New Orleans Home Magazine.
I'm not surprised.
So having your own in-house chef is a big deal. So you don't have to find a caterer or anything like that.
You guys are also in a good area for room blocks.
We are surrounded. Thanks. Yeah, surrounded by hotels at every different price point. I mean, just in the immediate neighborhood, within a 1-block walking distance, there's about 8 different hotels.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that helps out a lot with, destination weddings, which is 75% of our business here now.
So what do you think when brides and grooms come in, let's say they have a time of year, let's say they have a budget, and everything else is falling in line. What about this space do you think is unique, or something that you would want those brides and grooms to be able to open their minds to when they come see the space? What should they know? What makes a good Chicory couple, really?
So a good Chicory couple is a couple that have done their research on New Orleans weddings. Yeah. You and I know because we're from here, but I mean, we both deal with a lot of out-of-town clients who are not familiar with the New Orleans style of wedding. So, for example, just about everywhere else, they do plated dinners, and it's this 5-hour-long affair, and we know how that goes, and it's fine and whatever. New Orleans is a completely different thing. We have a whole different culture down here. And I was recently reading that cocktail style receptions, which is what New Orleans is known for, cocktail style receptions started in Europe. And that was a big European thing. And recently, Martha Stewart Weddings, I was just reading, is promoting that you should, if you want to do a different style of wedding, you should do a cocktail style reception.
It's
basically like taking any cocktail hour that you've been to at a seated dinner, which the cocktail hour is the best part, and extending it 3 to 4 hours.
Absolutely.
And I wish more people knew that when they came to the city, because we get so many out-of-town weddings that they come in like, oh, I want to do a seated dinner. It's my guest you used to, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, when you come here, embrace the culture. You're coming to a completely different world down here. We're not like any other city when it comes to anything, music, food, anything, especially weddings. And I was thinking about this last night. If you have a wedding to a tropical location, say you go to, the Bahamas or Mexico, you're not trying to bring your seated dinner from up north to down there. You do what they do down there, and it's definitely a cultural thing. It's a regional thing that we do down here, and it's so successful, and it's just the best parts of all the wedding without all of the sorry, I fell asleep for a second and all that seated dinner. But I do. I wish that people knew a little bit more about it. And I don't mind explaining it to them on site.
No, but it also helps for you guys to know when you see the spaces here in New Orleans, because a lot of our spaces are conducive to cocktail style receptions rather than seated dinners, especially at larger weddings. We want people out dancing. We want people to enjoy different types of food rather than just one steak or food, that kind of thing. So definitely,
it's all about the socializing. It's all about the band and the party and the fun. Because the night before our rehearsal dinners, we do seated dinners, and that's when you get the 4 courses and the 3 hours of speeches
and toasts forever. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I've known you since kindergarten. Let's talk about that time we ate glue. Well, nobody else cares.
So yes, absolutely. The other thing too is that people are in New Orleans, they want to go afterwards, meaning they don't want to be sitting in the same room for 7 hours. They want to go out. Yeah, exactly. They don't know anybody. They're at that dreadful singles table. I mean, I've never been there, but I'm just saying, I know I've heard about it, but I'm just saying, and so, exactly. But they want to go out, they want to enjoy the reception with you guys, and then go out into the city with you as well. So I think it's conducive to when you see these venues and when you see these spaces, you have to know what you're looking at when you're doing these site visits so that you can be creative. And if you want that seated dinner, you have to be able to look at these spaces and see how you're going to be able to get it. So, and that's something we're going to go ahead and show you guys all the spaces of the Chicory, take you through a little tour right now. Anything you want to add before we start the tour? Anything they should know?
You look fabulous today. That's what I wanted to add.
Thank you. Back at you. Right. All right, guys, we're going to take you on the tour.
Let's go this way. Welcome to the Chicory.
That is the end of our tour of the Chicory. Thank you, Brent, for being with us today. I will have the Chicory website and email address for you guys, of course. And if you have any other questions, yeah, I wish it was going to be it's not going to be at the bottom. But if you guys have any more questions, you can email me directly and tune in for another episode coming at you soon. Thanks, Brent.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Cheers. Now get out of here.
Wait,
Hi, I'm Kelly Sherlock, and we're here on WEDucation. All right, guys, we're going to take a little quick walk through the Chicory and show you what we do in all the different spaces. So follow me. This goes into the Orleans room, which is about 3,500 square feet. And this is where the main reception space is. So at this end with the windows, generally that's where a bar will be. It opens up into this Fulton room over here. And then the rest of the Orleans room space is where a little bit of seating, and then this whole end that we're looking at down here, this is all gonna be dance floor. This is where your band or your DJ, entertainment, that kind of thing goes. So down at this end, dance floor, band, DJ, and then the back end of the room behind us, this is where bar and just a little bit of minor seating will be. And then let's go walk into the Fulton room. And I'm telling you this as if this was for a wedding of about 200 to 300 people, where we would use the entire second floor. So into the Fulton room. And in here, this is where wedding cakes would go. Some smaller seating, little 30-inch round tables, or maybe you want to have some lounge furniture, that kind of thing. Photo booth, candy table, fun stuff, to where everything's over right by the main side of the space that ties into dance floor and band area. And then we'll go across the hallway to the parlor. This is a favor table if we do favors. This is a gift table right here. We do have an elevator if we have like grandparents, physically challenged, lazy people, whatever. So I haven't taken the stairs in years. Let's go this way. This is the parlor. So this is where we do a majority of extra seating, food, stations, buffet, another bar in this room. This entire second floor is about 10,000 square feet of space. So it is made for the larger scale weddings.
if you are doing a seated dinner, we could do seating dinner in here and party reception over there as well.
Totally, yes. I would do a seated dinner. You can do a seated dinner for about 175 on this side. Guests will come up that main staircase, take their seats, find their escort card. After dinner is over, we'll go back across the hallway, and that's where dance floor and reception part. I think we have a wedding like that coming up,
Yeah.
you and I.
Yeah.
So yeah, the space is very versatile the way that we can use it. Because we have so much room, it's easy to play around with the rooms and the spaces and everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now we're about to walk out onto our rooftop. It's about 3,400 square feet. We can do events, ceremonies, welcome parties. I do a lot of cocktail hours if I have a seated dinner out here on the rooftop. So let's go out here and check things out. So we have, like I said, about 3,400 square feet. It's teak wood deck covering the entire thing. There's a seating railing all the way around. Again, ceremonies, after-hour parties, welcome parties, cocktail hour, all can be done up here. This is the third floor of our building. Overlooks all of the rooftops in the warehouse district. I can do a seated ceremony up here for about 250, a cocktail party for about 150. Very cool space. Depending on your vendors, they can hang chandeliers out here. You can do tents up here as it's drizzling a little bit right now, so a tent would be nice. So this is the gallery. This is one of our smaller rooms at 3,700 square feet. I do a lot of wedding receptions down here, about 150. Cocktail style, like parties, you can do about 200 or so down here. Again, it's just another different space in the building. This is a lot more warehouse style than the rest of the space being more rustic. So it has the stained concrete floors, all of the big pillars running down the middle of the room, gas lanterns around the perimeter of the room as well. And then it opens up onto Fulton Street, so you still have an outdoor aspect with this space. We set up outside courtyard style, so there'll be tables, chairs. I've had people do lounge furniture out here. Let's head on out. So you can, out here, we can have little 30-inch round tables, high boys, things like that. So Kelly's wedding took place in this building and went out onto the street, onto Fulton Street. She had a permit to shut down the street and to do an outdoor, indoor street. It was amazing. It really was. One of my favorite ones.
You'll see pictures of that, guys.
You will see pictures of that. So just, again, we can do multiple events because this room has its own address, its own entrance, its own everything. This is called the gallery at the Chicory.
It has its own kitchen as well.
Yes, its own catering kitchen down here on the first floor. So very easy, multi-use space down here.